Good morning, everyone. My name's Morag and I'm one of the leaders that works with the children at Poplars Church. I just want to say a very special hello to all our stars and stunners out there. Really miss you, not seen you for a long time, but looking forward to meeting with you again. And all those the Easter things that we missed, will still be there when we come back. I want to do a little recap first today. Thinking about the last few days that we've had, thinking about the Easter weekend, we remembered first of all that on the Friday was a very sad time for us as Christians when we remember that Jesus died on the cross. And after he died, a very kind person came along and said that he could put his body in the tomb. We have a lovely little model here that our friend Clint made for us of that tomb with the big stone in front of it. So Jesus was laid in there on the Friday night because it was Sabbath day for the Jews on the Saturday and they couldn't do any work or go anywhere. But then, first thing on the Sunday morning, we remember something very, very different. Some women went to the tomb to look after the body of Jesus, and when they got there, this huge stone had been rolled away. And inside, it was empty. Jesus' body wasn't there. So they immediately rushed back to tell the disciples. I'm going to tell you today something about something that happened after all of this. And it's about what happened with the disciples, all sorts of different times when Jesus actually appeared to his disciples. He did tell them before he died that he was going to rise from the dead, but I think they actually couldn't believe it. And on this particular day, two of his followers were walking back to their home from Jerusalem. They lived in a little village called Emmaus. Now, Emmaus was 7 miles from Jerusalem, and there were no trains to jump on or buses to catch, so they had to walk. A very lonely road, very bumpy, difficult road to travel. And if I tell you that if you wanted to walk from Worksop to Retford, it's just over 8 miles. So they nearly walked all that way to go to Emmaus. Now, on that road, they were very, very sad, very unhappy, because they were remembering all the horrible things that had happened to Jesus. So they decided, they didn't decide. They were talking together, they were very sad, and all of a sudden this other traveller came along. And this other traveller, although they didn't recognise him, was Jesus. And he walked beside them. And he asked them what was happening, what were they talking about? Well, why were they looking so sad? Well, one of the men, called Cleopas, said, "What? You don't know? You must be the only person in Jerusalem that doesn't know about Jesus dying on the cross. How is this?" Well then, very gently and calmly, Jesus started to talk to them. And I've got a picture here. It's a picture that somebody's painted of these travellers on the road to Emmaus. You can see how sad they're looking. And as you probably realise, Jesus is the one in the middle, but they still don't know who he is. So for the whole of that journey, Jesus gently explained to them everything that the Bible had actually said, from the times of Moses right through to the prophets. And we've been talking about prophets, haven't we? And all the times it mentioned about Jesus coming to the earth and having to die. And of course it was a long, long journey, 7 miles. But all of that 7 miles, Jesus had plenty to teach them, which he did. When they came near to the town where the 2 men lived, they pleaded with Jesus to come to their house and have supper. So Jesus agreed. They all sat round the table to eat their meal. And as they sat round the meal, Jesus picked up the bread and he looked up to his Father in heaven and blessed the bread, and then he broke it. As he did this, the 2 travellers were absolutely amazed. Their eyes were opened. They realised who it was. And I've got another picture here to show you, another painting that somebody did. You can see how the light in their faces as they realise that that is Jesus all the time. And as soon as they realised that, they also realised that while he was talking to them all that time on the road to Emmaus, their hearts were burning on fire inside with what he was telling them. And they knew all the time. So what did they do? They just travelled all that 7 miles from Jerusalem to Emmaus. Did they sit and have a rest or have a sleep? No. They were so excited about the fact they had seen Jesus, they'd walked with him, they'd talked with him, that they ran all the way back to Jerusalem to tell all the other disciples that they'd seen him. They'd spoken to him. They'd talked with him that Jesus was alive. And there were lots of other times that Jesus appeared to his disciples too. Now, I have an activity for you for today that I would like you to try. You might need a little bit of help from your mums and dads. I want you to do a little plaque. I've got one here that I've done earlier. I'll show you what it looks like. Right. I'm afraid the writing is back to front because I'm on my camera. But if you can see, if you stand on a piece of paper and just make your feet, your toes, turn out a tiny, tiny bit like that, and get your mums and dads to draw around those 2 feet. You can see it's a really good shape for putting a heart round. And then, like my drawing, you can put a heart round the whole thing. And then inside, I want you to write, I will walk with Jesus. I'll show you mine again. There we are. I will walk with Jesus. Mine looks back to front, doesn't it? Because I've got my camera on the wrong way around. But I would love to see some of these. If your mums and dads to take a photo of them and put them either on Facebook or in Messenger for me, that would be absolutely great. So I look forward to seeing you all again. And be good, behave yourselves, try and be the best that you can for Jesus, for your parents while you're at home. And see you again soon, I hope. Bye.